Well, we're here at Lake Winfield Scott. It's about 32 degrees. It's not really terribly cold, just a bit of a chill. As usual, I kind of got a late start, but what we're going to do today is head up Jarrard Gap to the AT. I want to do a little recon on the other side of Jarrard Gap to see if that's really a trail on the other side that heads over and down to Ditch Creek Road. Just something I wanted to look at. And there's a road back there and a trail supposedly, or a double track or something that cuts back down there. I just wanted to take a look at that. If that's impassable, or even if it's not, I'll go down it, come back up, and then make our way over to Woods Hole Shelter, and then back here again, maybe down Slaughter Creek Trail, which we've done several times. So, yep, Jarrard Gap. Feel a little naked today because I found my trekking poles. Thought they were in the Jeep. I forgot I had to take everything out of the Jeep so I could take it to the shop. So, it is what it is. Maybe I'll find a suitable stick on the way up and take out my neck knife and do some whittling on that. And let that help me up a little bit. It's going to be a bit of a climb up Jarrard Gap. Jarrard Gap Trail parallels a little dirt road. It goes up to the AT. Kind of finishes off as a double track. So anyway, it's a little bit steep, but we'll see. And we come to the bridge. So here, Slaughter Creek Trail. This basically, I think, just goes back into the campground. So yeah, came to the footbridge here. See some remnants of snow. There's some ice hanging there. Kind of looks like a fish hanging upside down. So yeah, here at the dirt road, we're going to take a right. That's the quickest way up Blood Mountain right there from here. I believe this basically just goes back and meanders its way back too. But yeah, we're going to walk up the road here and duck into the Jarrard Gap Trail. So we're on the back side of the campground here. You just see the blue blaze with the arrow pointing up. I believe when I camped here, this is the way I came back to the trail. This is a good place to camp. If you wanted to come and camp and do a nice day hike, you can come here and camp. Then just make your way up and do a big loop up to Blood Mountain and back. You can either go up Slaughter Creek and do it as an out and back, or you can go up Jarrard, then over. So this intersection, Jarrard Gap Road, and I think that goes up and eventually becomes that double track. This comes out right at the entrance to the park. In theory, you could bypass the park and pay in the fee, the day use fee, but I'd have to park here and who knows what might happen. So I paid $4. I didn't have a $5, but since I've paid $20 before, when I only needed to pay $5 because I only had a $20, I figured I banked a little currency karma with the state. So yeah, so we're making our way up now. This pretty much starts the trail. Been here before, but it's been a while. So yeah, sometimes you want to come back and see an old friend. Say, hey man, how you been? So it's right at freezing. The sun's trying to thaw the ground a little bit, but what's nice is the mud's still a little frozen. So walking in it's not bad. You're not getting muddy because it's still kind of hard, which is nice. Now my fingers are finally starting to warm up too. One thing about not having trekking poles is my arms aren't real active, so they kind of hang down and then things get cold. But Sun, I guess, is warming them up a little bit, so they're not feeling quite as bad as they did before. You see some remnants of snow and some freeze. Whew. Get your blood moving. Climbing up out of here and out of the campground down there reminds you a little bit of climbing out of Standing Indian on Kimsey Creek, part where you're real close to the campground. Because you got to go up to get around it. Lazy days have made me soft. Had a big old root ball here. You can see where the tree has cradled a lot of the rock. So entangled in all the roots is a lot of rock. Kind of a shame. There's some runoff here in a little creek. It's warming up enough that there's not a lot of ice in this water, so must be getting closer to 33, 34. You can see it running through, going under here. Pretty cool. You can see a lot more snow left over on the other end there, other side of the creek. A lot more snow over there. The sun is starting to thaw a little bit of the trail in places, but some of it's still pretty hard. You can see here, this is all still nice and hard. But I saw a few slushy and soft patches back there. We come to another little creek here. I didn't think we crossed it, but clearly we do. Get rid of this guy. Up, up, up. A little patch of greenery here. Got a little bit of ice there coming across. This tree here came down too. Kind of sad to see, but it kind of happens. We've come up the ridge a good bit, or up the slope I should say. We got to get up here to the ridge because that's where the gap is. Old forest road bed here. Yeah, we left the double track there. Got our blue blaze. I think the temperatures dropped just a little bit coming up this slope. Still seeing freeze in the trail and not seeing as much slush. You know, not that I was seeing much slush before, but there'd be a spot or two. But I think it's dropped a couple of degrees heading up this hill here, which is to be expected. Well, I'm sorry that I'm actually in this shot, but what you're seeing here is freeze from this stream. It's actually a spring just pops out of the hill here. All of that is freeze from it. Those shards are just beautiful. Really cool. So yeah, we popped out onto the road, Jarrard Gap Road. You can just walk right there. Or I think this might be where the blaze takes us. I'm not real sure, but We're right here at the AT, so it doesn't really matter. Here we are, AT's going that way. And that way. So, here we are, Jarrard Gap. There's the blue blaze, so I guess technically the road's the trail. Yeah, Woody Gap, 5.5 miles. Neal Gap, 5. This little trail, I believe it just takes you to some extra camping. What we're going to do is we're going to go down this way and see what that becomes. I believe there's going to be a trail offshoot down at the bottom of this. So, but I'm going to take this vest off first. All right, we go around the gate here. Looks like it's a pretty good road all the way down, at least this first part, so that's good. The whole goal here is to see how passable this is down to where the trail turns off, whatever that trail is. So sadly we'll be descending. What you think? Oh, that's great. Yeah, I gotta climb back up. So I don't know how far down there I'll go, but we'll see. I just want to kind of see what it is. If it looks pretty good, then I may make another trip where I park at that end and make my way up that trail. So it's a matter of putting pieces together and different places I can hike, and new places. I don't know how much you can see of that out there, but we got some rock face. Looks like we might have some ice up there on the rock face too. So according to the GPS, we're going to go make a loop around, and that trail should be off on our right, and it's going to basically hook back down the holler. Looks like they had a good bit of tree damage down here. Maybe that explains why this is beat out so well. Truck's coming back in here. So my understanding from the map, from the GPS, is this is just going to go down and stop, but we should start seeing remnants of a trail pretty soon. I don't know if that's what maybe that is there. Kind of keep an eye out. Yeah, looks like maybe this is it right here. They've piled stuff all in front of it though. This may be it. Get out the GPS and have a look. So according to the GPS, that's it. So what I'm doing here is, it looks like there might be a little bit of a trail over here. I'll go see if maybe there's a trail leading into that I can get on. No, I don't know. Looks like they got that blocked off too. It looks like they don't want you in there. Although there is a little spot right here where you can go down. I'm going to walk this a little ways just to see what we see. May clear on out back there. Yeah, this is where I was. You can see this was bona fide trail, bona fide cleared trail at some point. Probably just really want to keep I would think vehicles, maybe not necessarily foot traffic, I don't know. You can see where people have beat it out though coming down here, so we'll go a little ways. If it looks like this most of the way, then there's a good chance that I can come from the other end and make my way up here. So what I'm looking for when I come down here is, as I go past these areas where there's some blowdown and some garbage, you know, as far as debris, I should say, does it look like that somebody has deliberately made trail and beaten a path around it? Like the fallen tree, does it look like anybody went beyond that? Somebody was just coming down here and not necessarily planning to go all the way down. They just come down to some deadfall or something, say, I'm going to go back. But if there's a trail beyond that looks like it's been used, then that's a sign that you could keep going further. And if you look at this, you can see an obvious beat through this stuff where somebody's gone. In fact, I think I may have actually seen a footprint back there. So there may actually be somebody walking this, or came up to the trail today or in the last couple of days over the weekend and came up to the AT and went back. I don't know. But this is a good sign because it tells me that this indeed is probably beat out all the way down. which is really all I wanted to know. So, yeah, that means that I should be able to go up to that spot that I stopped at before on Dix Creek Road, park, and be able to make my way all the way up to the AT. And I'll do that another day. This is a fallen tree I ducked under earlier, but somebody's been coming in here frequently enough that they've actually beat out a path around it. So that trail is getting some use, clearly. So just for the sake of knowing where this goes, it's like our forest road comes to a dead end here at a gate, so private property. So here we are. Let's go down here and risk getting shot. There you are. We got a game camera over there we can wave at. It's good. You got it fenced off. It's their property. That's got no issues with that. Looks like here they've gotten a nice little clearing where they've run their barbed wire at. So yeah, there you are. There's your bearing tree. And my bearings must not be in this time of year because I don't see anything on that tree. It looks like bearings, but I reckon when they come in, they come up here and they can harvest some bearings. Kind of fur. It may be mixed in with some scat. Who knows? Might have been scat there at one time. May not see it, but quite a bit of ice hanging off some icicles there. Off that rock. So we make our way back up to the gap here. We're almost there. Should be able to see that gate pretty quick. And we're back. All right, we're gonna head up the AT. I'm gonna sit down and take a break. So we got about 1.5 miles to the turnoff to Woods Hole Shelter. I figure I'll go back in there. It's been a while since I've been there. In fact, I don't know that I've been to the shelter since I camped there. And it's about a 1/2 mile off trail. I remember thinking that's an awful long way off trail. But it's kind of my favorite place that I camp because maybe because it was the first place. I believe it was the first night I spent on trail. So, well, you gotta figure gravity's not gonna let it live there forever or die there. This one back here. That one's tangled up pretty good in the back. That's a little bit more precarious. Stay right there, buddy. Of course, the trail would bring us right around to this one. He's hanging on a little better. Just out there, you can just see the face of Yona, it looks like. Earlier I thought the rocky faces I was looking out there might have been blood, but I believe one of them is Brushy Knob and the other one is Rocky Mountain. Because of where we were on Jarrard, blood is back up this way, so there was just no way we'd have been able to see it, but we got a little bit of a view of Yona. So those ladies back there, they're doing more or less the same loop I am, backwards. They're headed back down to Lake Winfield, Scott. So they didn't summit blood. They've done it before, so they didn't need to do it again, I guess. But yeah, we're kind of doing the opposite of them. And they're going to take their dog down to the lake and he's got a good bit of mud on him. And that's because the freeze-thaw is starting to happen. Later in the day, it's probably creeping up temperature. It was a little muddy back there in the saddle, so a little less so here on the slope, which is good. Really feeling not having my trekking poles. Of course, really feeling not being in shape. It's a good bit more snow up here. Still left and lingering. Pretty cool. Well, here we are. Give me shelter. We'll head down yonder. Take us a break. So right up in those fallen logs at the base of those rocks there, I believe is where the spring is. So when you come down here, you need a water source. That's where it's going to be. You can see it running across the trail here. And it's running pretty good. When I came down here, as I recall, this was pretty much bone dry, but the creeks, the spring rather, still had water in it. So it should be really, really nice now. But yeah, there's your water source. You come down here to camp. Just a little bit longer to the shelter. There's a little trail that goes up there. So there's been some traffic back here to the shelter, which is good to see. I mean, this shelter I don't think sees a whole lot of use for through hikers. It may. I mean, never been down here in the bubble, but because from April 1st, I think it is, to June 1st, it requires a bear canister. A lot of through hikers will skip it. And a lot of them don't know that it's only a temporary requirement. So they'll think, oh, I can't stay there and go into Neal Gap. But it's only for those 2 to 3 months there, 2 months, that it's required. And I guess because that's when the bears are waking up and the most active and least likely to get into stuff, trying to quell that initial hunger from waking up from their sleep. See the shelter there through the trees. Keep thinking maybe I hear somebody, but I don't see anybody. We'll find out. Well, this is interesting. I don't know exactly how they did it. And it'd be a heck of a walk back here, but they put a bear box, which is pretty cool. So maybe what that means is we don't have that requirement anymore for canister. I don't know. See what we got. Hopefully not trash. Good. Little bit, little wrapper, but thank goodness. It's good to see. There's the cables, which we made use of. Yeah, so there's our privy. The shelter. This is the 2 trees that I hung from when I came up. A little bit muddy there now. Yeah. Really good to see that bear box. But take a break. Eat a little food, get down and out. Alright, leaving Woods Hole Shelter. I'm really glad to see that bear box here. It'll make things a little easier for somebody who has to stay here and don't have a canister. They just put their food in there. We gotta make our way back to the gap there, and we're gonna be heading back down that way, down Slaughter Creek, back to the truck. Back at the AT, you can see rock face out that way, and you can see some up there. Top of blood up there somewhere. Yeah, we're back. Yeah, sun's starting to melt some of this ice embedded in this mud, making for a mess to walk in. Well, we got some ice right here. Doesn't feel too terribly slick, but it's ice nonetheless. There's a fellow approaching here too. A little ice hanging down. Got some tripe up there too. A lot more ice over here than there was. Even on the trail, more frozen spots. So we got a doggy coming and a runner. Well, you can see what things are like here at Slaughter Creek Trail. Water's moving enough to thaw it out up to this point, but well, the Sony ran out of power, but thought I'd show you some of this. Got a lot of ice collecting around the side of this creek here, all the way down. Quite a bit. Pretty cool. And we gotta get across.
Now getting our feet wet.
Yes, over here at that little monolith, we just came down the trail there. Some of you may remember when I came here with some friends. That's the rock where the timber rattler was coiled up.
Hanging out. Yeah.
We're making our way down. This is kind of a camping area here. We're gonna get a bit of snow back in here still too, which is kind of cool. Really pretty. You can see here where the water comes out from under the ground. And this tree comes down the hill, and apparently an offshoot goes under. There's a hole here, water running in it. All right, we're making our way down. We're just coming to our Blood Wilderness sign here. Blood Mountain Wilderness.
There it is.
Sun's going down and the moon has gone up. It started to get a little bit colder. I don't know. Yeah. And another little earthen walkway. Inching our way closer. All right, we made it to the road. We closed our circle as soon as we get across there. That's where we went up.
That's where we're going.
Yeah, back at the footbridge, we got our little ice there, and that upside down fish
Still hanging on. Like a hair in a biscuit.
and we're back at the lake. Make our way over to the old Blackie-O.
Hope nobody run off with him.
Old Blackie's still here.
He's the last one. He said, yeah, I'm getting worried about you there, Uncle Joe. Wondering if you're gonna come take me home or not.
All right, Jarrard Gap. We'll call this Jarrard Gap Recon. Done. Gave me a little bit of information about that trail coming up from Ditch Creek Road, so sound like that's the next one, maybe. Come up from that side.
I better get back to the house.